Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you. Hello and welcome to this demo video for the platform payment forecast. Now what this is I've had a few requests for people who are selling different products on different platforms. I know a lot of you sell online, so whatever platform you're selling on, and those platforms, obviously you make sales on those platforms, and very often you don't get paid straight away. You might get paid on certain days based on the different platforms. So all this is really is just a sales forecast, as it were, to say, well, this is what you've actually sold this month on the various platforms, but this is when the money is actually coming in. So, because sometimes you may get paid in a month and you might only get the money in the following month, and that messes up your cash flow. So this is just a kind of a sales forecast, not necessarily a sales forecast, but a payment for the sales forecast, if that makes sense. Very, very simple spreadsheet. The most confusing part of the whole thing is over here. I'm going to show you how this works. The rest is very, very, very simple. Start date. Put in the start date of the year. The spreadsheet lasts for a year. It actually has enough data for a year and 6 months, but you need to transfer some data over. I'll show you how to do that. So put in the first date of your year. I would recommend a financial year, but if you want to work to calendar year, that's fine. That's up to you. Put in the start date. This will then work out the end date, and it'll look back 6 months to give you a 6-month backlog date when the data starts. As I said, I'll show you what that does. Then just list the platforms. You've got space here for, I think, 15 platforms that you can list. Just list the different platforms, name them, don't put in any duplicates, name your platforms, and then fill in when you get paid for from those platforms. So how does this work? Well, the first column, you need to fill in one of these two sections, either the section in the middle or the section on the right. You need to fill in one or the other for each platform. Don't fill in both. You can fill in both, but it's only going to take the latter one anyway, so you're wasting your time. So the first one is if it's paid somewhat regularly, in other words, how many days after the sale and which day of the week. I know some of the platforms will pay on a specific day. So if you say, for example, well, 1 day afterwards, and they pay on a Tuesday, or 2 days afterwards they pay on a Monday, or even just 7 days after the sale, that's when they pay regardless of what day, those kind of things. So you can put in the number of days after the sale and then select a day. Now if you put 1 day after the sale on a Tuesday and the sale takes place on say a Wednesday, it's going to say 1 day after the sale is a Thursday, and it's going to take the sale forward to the next Tuesday. So that's how that works. You can use one or both of those columns, either a strict number of days from the sale or the number of days, and then go on to that particular date. The second one is if it happens monthly. So if they pay out, say they pay out on the 5th of every month, and they pay out the next month, then what you do is you put 1 month ahead on the 5th. So you'll put in 1 here. Say if they pay on the 3rd of every month there, you'll put 1 month ahead on the 3rd. If they pay 2 months ahead on the 1st of the month, whatever the case might be. So you can put how many months ahead of when the actual sale comes in, and then what day of the month, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. If you put the 30th or the 31st, is going to cause you grief. I would then just put in the 28th towards, obviously at the end of the month. The forecast that it gives are monthly anyway. So that's what you can fill in each of your platforms, and basically use those two sets of pairs of columns there to determine when those payments are actually going to come into your account from the sales that you've made. You put in the VAT rate here. If you VAT registered or whatever, put in your VAT rate here. If you're not VAT registered, you can put that at 0. It doesn't. What I would suggest doing here is, well, I'll show you in a minute when we get to the forecast. The only other thing that you've got here at the end is your very occasionally for bank holiday changes. So like in 2020, 2020 the bank holiday changed. One of the bank holidays changed to VE Day. If you put in the original bank holiday and the new bank holiday, all that does is it just shows up. I didn't mean to open that. It just shows up on here as a bank holiday. It's not particularly important for this one because it doesn't really matter, but yeah, you can change bank holidays around. So that's all of your setup involved. Let's go on to the daily sales. Now the daily sales, you just simply put in your sales. Now the first ones are the blue ones, and as you can see, those are the dates. This is when I put in the year start, or the 1st of January. So these dates here are all previous dates from a previous year, 6 months worth of previous dates. So why is that there? Well, the reason why that's there is because there may still be payments outstanding from sales done here in the new year. If you put here, these guys pay every 6 months, then you still got sales outstanding. Now the chances are you probably won't need to go back as far as 6 months, but what you can do is, if you've already used the spreadsheet 1 year and you now started a second year, simply copy the last 6 months from the previous year and paste the values into here. Because if you've done that, then you've got the last 6 months worth of sales, which means that your actual sales coming into your account, it'll know what's been done before the start. If we just started on the 1st of January, for the new spreadsheet, for the first few months you'd be playing catch up because some of these sales might still be coming in and you wouldn't have an accurate figure. So that's why I've just been let you put in the previous 6 months worth of data. So you can just copy from a previous spreadsheet and paste values into the spreadsheet. Don't do normal paste values. If you're starting a first spreadsheet, well then you're going to start from this year anyway and you wouldn't have this data, so just leave it blank and don't worry about it. Unless of course you have this data, in which case go back and fill it in retrospectively. Then all you need to do then is just simply come in and put in the sales per month, or sorry, per day per platform. So if you say on the 1st of January, what were the sales per platform? On the 2nd of January, put in the sales per platform as you go on, and that's all you need to fill in. The spreadsheet will work out the rest. So what will that work out? Well, what that does then is it looks and says, okay, well, the yellow ones are your actual sales and the blue ones are what you're being paid for. So as you can see at the beginning, you've been paid slightly less because you're waiting for those sales to come in and some of them are going over. But then all of a sudden, you realize you've been paying more than what you spent because you're now getting the sales in for the money in for these previous sales. So this just gives you an idea of what your actual sales are, as well as what your payments are that are coming in based on the sales that you've done before. And that will go, as you can see, goes on to the end of the year and then projects for a further 6 months. So you can see what's coming in the next 6 months of next year. And then when you transfer the data over to the second spreadsheet, you'll have this filled in already and you'll be 6 months ahead. You can see a breakdown of the numbers. You can see your sales ex VAT, VAT on sales, sales including VAT per month. And then you can see your payments that are coming in and what your payments are, the VAT on the payments, and what your payments are including VAT per month. So you can compare the two there. So that's just a breakdown of the numbers that appears on this graph. And that's it. A very, very simple graph. It's not necessarily rocket science. If you want something more complicated as a cash flow or whatever, we do have some other spreadsheets, so do take a look at that or let us know. But if this works for you, just to give you an idea of actually when I'm making the sales on these different platforms, when's that money actually going to come in, then this should do the job for you. Just remember one or two things. If you change the platform names here, they will change here automatically as the headers. So once you've made your choices for your platforms, don't go and move these around. Or if you came here, let's just say platform 1 was Amazon and you changed that to eBay, it's not gonna, it's all it's gonna do is change the header. All the values you put in here are still gonna stay the same. So you just be aware of that if you're changing any of the platforms. What I'd suggest doing is putting the platforms on, and if you add on any more, add them on at the bottom. Then if you want to sort this, sort that at the end of the year when you're doing the carryover, and then just make sure you copy and paste each column of the 6 months in under the correct column. Because if you put all your data in here and then come and change this, and those headers change, it's obviously they're not going to marry up properly. Yeah, I hope that all makes sense. I really do. So yeah, if that helps you, then I wish you all the best with this. If you are selling on various platforms, then hopefully that will help. But if you want, as I said, if you want something more comprehensive, do get in touch, and I'm sure I can arrange something for you. Thank you very much, and goodbye.